guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a story time video. It is either a Talk Tuesday or a Talk Thursday. I'm really not sure what day I'm going to be uploading this video on. But I had mentioned this to you all before, and a lot of you seem to really want to know the story about it. And so here it is, the time your girl got played by a church boy. So there's a lot of, sorry, I'm like fixing my shirt. Also, I'm wearing my Shania Twain shirt. You guys can't see it, but I love Shania. So I'm going to go ahead and start. This story kind of starts back in November of last year. And this person, we're going to call them, I'm going to call him Jake from State Farm. I have known Jake for almost 7 years. I want to say almost 8 years probably. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't keep track about like friendship timings. But anyways, so we've been friends for a really long time before anything else happened. Full disclosure, that's kind of how it was. We were always friends. I was never anything more than friends until almost this year. So what ended up happening was we had been talking for a while, and it started off just talking like friends, like just, hey, how's your week go? My week is good. How's your week kind of thing. And so eventually it evolved, I want to say in like December or like after that, into something a little bit more where he said, I like you. And I said, oh, I like you too. Like, I love hanging out with you. Like, you know, like, let's see kind of where this goes or whatever. So that happened, and I didn't really talk to anyone about it because, I mean, I'm not one to just be like, oh my gosh guys, you know, like, I don't make a big deal out of something that might be a relationship until it's actually like a relationship. Like, this is my boyfriend, you know? So he knew my parents. Like I said, we've been friends for a while, so we've been friends. My parents knew him, my sister already knew him, my friends knew him because we're all kind of in the same friend group or whatever. So we all just kind of knew, like, we knew. There wasn't really anyone, I don't know how to explain it, but we've all been friends for a really long time. And he was always known for using like pickup lines on me, and for the longest time I thought he was always kidding. Now I don't know whether he was always kidding or whether it was something more that I just didn't know, because like I said, like, I am so naive, not naive, but like, I'm just so like, I don't know if you like me unless you tell me you like me, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not one for like playing games or like, oh, does he like me, does he not like me, you know? So unless you tell me like, Bianca, I like you, you know, then I'll be like, oh, okay, he likes me, you know? They're just like the cheesiest pickup lines, and I'm someone that finds everything funny. Like, you can tell me the dumbest joke and I will most likely laugh at it. Like, that's just me. Like, I just find almost anything funny. Like, literally anything funny, I will find it funny. Even if it's not funny, if it's a dumb joke, like, I'll probably still laugh. Like, literally, that's me, right? So he would always use these pickup lines on me, and I would always laugh about it because I thought they were genuinely funny. Like, I literally think cheesy pickup lines are like hilarious, you know? So he would always use those on me. He would always make like little comments, like to my mom especially, like, oh, hi mom, you know, like, you don't call someone's mom, like someone else's mom, your mom, unless you're like, I don't know. It's weird. We were always having the friends over every like Friday or Saturday, just kind of like hang out and watch a movie. So we'd invite like the whole gang over, and he'd come over as well. And so again, like, most of the night he would like try to say things, and you know, of course I would just laugh it off. You know, everyone of course thought he was kidding, but after he had told me he liked me, like, I knew he was like kidding, but like not kidding, you know what I mean? I don't know if this even makes sense. So he would just say things that would like insinuate a relationship will be coming forth from this relationship. Fast forward, like I said, we had been talking like every day, a couple times a week. I'd see him on the weekends. Like, it was, we just like all like, we were just like always around each other. And like I said, we had the same group of friends, so we were like always around each other for the like most part of the weekend. That's what happened. And one of the red flags that I didn't even take as a red flag was, one time someone was commenting at my friend's house. They were like, oh, what if he actually likes you? What if Jake actually likes you? I was like, oh, no, he doesn't. And so one of my guy friends, we'll call him I don't even know. We won't even give him a name. But he was like, oh no, don't worry. Like, there's no way he would ever like you. And to me, I was like, oh my gosh, like, does he know something I don't know? You know what I mean? But of course, like, I've always been very honest. I'm a very honest person. Like, if there's anything going on, like, you feel free to talk to me. Like, I'm not a dramatic person. So I would have expected that if there was anything going on, like, he would have said something to me, right? So I brought this up to Jake. And Jake was like, oh, like, don't believe anything anyone says unless it comes from my mouth. Like, I just want you to know that, like, I'll always let you know if anything's going on. But, like, yeah, whatever that person said, like, don't even think about it. Like, it's not true. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I still like you. Like, just all these things. And so in my head, I was like, oh, look at, like, he's so sweet. Like, people are just thinking that he wouldn't like me. But of course he does. Like, he just told me again, right? I think that was, like, a giant red flag. Woo! If there was ever a red flag, it was that, okay? Because Jake and my other friend were, like, close friends at the time, or still are, I don't even know, but I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I should have taken that as, like, a red flag. So I want to say there was a point, like, I want to say in, like, May or April where we kind of stopped talking, but it wasn't like we stopped talking for a long time. I think it was like a week, and because we were both really busy, like, he works, I work, you know, it just, things got busy. So I texted him. It was like a whole week where I hadn't heard anything from him. And I don't like to be the person that's, like, always insinuating, not insinuating, but, like, starting conversations. So I wanted to see, like, how long it would go before he would decide to text me. So a week went by and he didn't text me or anything. So I was like, oh, that's really weird. So I was like, oh, maybe he's just busy. So I just sent him a really quick text and I was just like, hey, hope your week's going well. Like, I don't know, just something random like that, right? And guys, he left me on red. Okay, so that's where I was like, oh, like, he left me on red. Like, he didn't even, like, reply. But in my mind, or not, like, in my mind, I was like, oh wow, that's, like, kind of mean, like, to just leave someone on red when you, like, send them, like, a thoughtful text. And so, you know, but, like, when you're just like, no, he's just really busy, like, making excuses for the other person, like, oh, he's just super busy, like, I understand, like, he's going to school and he's doing work, like, I understand. So, like, yeah, he's just busy, like, he read it, but, like, he forgot to, like, write back. Oh my gosh. Don't ever let boys do that to you, okay? So a week went by and, like I said, he said nothing. And then we went to Disneyland and, like, nothing. And I remember when he went to Disneyland, he had sent me a picture. I think it was, like, in December or November when he went. He had sent me a picture of Disneyland and I was like, well, he's, like, not talking to me, so, like, whatever. So I literally just spent the entire vacation just, like, worrying about, like, having fun and just being with my family, which, by the way, was so much fun. If you haven't seen the vlog, I'll leave a link here because it was just so much fun. So when we came back from Disneyland, it was like maybe a week or two later, we were at the youth group and like I said, like, the whole group, most of us met because of the youth group. So I went to the youth group and it was like the end, so I was like wiping down a table or something, or the whiteboard, and he was cleaning the table or something. And there wasn't a lot of people in there, but if they were like having their own conversations, and we were like towards the back of the room or the front of the room. And so he says, like, oh, I think he goes like, oh, if I was to ask you on a date, like, where would I take you? So in my mind, I'm thinking, like, oh, like, he's still, like, we're okay. So I told him, like, I don't know, like, just surprise me. Like, I'm not picky with my food, which, like, to be honest, I'm not picky. You could take me to McDonald's if you wanted, and, like, I'd be fine. Like, tell me that I can get an ice cream cone, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, you know me, right? So he said that. He was like, if I were to take you on a date, where would I take you? And I said, I don't know, like, you can surprise me, like, I'm not picky. And so that kind of made me think, like, oh, we haven't been talking a lot, but, like, he's still thinking of moving on with the relationship. In my mind, I was thinking, like, oh, is he gonna ask me out on a date? Like, oh my gosh, right? So that happened like 2 weeks after we had kind of stopped talking. And then 2 weeks later, I invite again everyone over. We're gonna watch a movie. It's on a Friday, I think, or a Saturday. And so I invite my friend over, one of my best friends over. I don't know what I was doing, if I was like cleaning, or she said like, hey, can I come over early? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be cleaning, but like we can hang out, you know? So she came home, or she came to my house earlier. She was actually dating my friend who had no name. She was dating him at the time, and so she was like, guess what, like we went to Jake's like school dance or something like that, and we got to meet the girl he likes. And in my mind I'm thinking, what? There's a girl he likes? Like, I'm the girl he likes, not some other chick, right? Because he hasn't told me anything. Like 2 weeks ago, like he was still telling me like, oh hey, like where would I do you want to do, you know? And like he was still like I think it was like, he wasn't talking to me as often, but he was still talking to me, you know? She was like, yeah, like we met the girl he likes. And in my mind I'm thinking, what? And then she goes, well, apparently the only reason they're not in a relationship is because she's going away for like 9 months. And in my mind I'm thinking, hold up. If you're not in a relationship with this person because they're going to be leaving for 9 months, like you should know them pretty well. You know what I mean? Because you're not taking that big step, you know? And so in my mind I'm thinking, wait, was he talking to like me at the same time that he was talking to her at the same time? Like what? Right? So in my mind I was so angry. Not in my mind, I was so angry, but I was trying to keep my chill because of course my best friend doesn't know that I like this guy, right? So I'm just like, oh really? Like that's it, really? She's like, yeah, like we met her, she's really sweet. And I'm just like he literally less than 2 weeks ago was asking me like, where, if I was to take you on a date, where would I take you? Like what the heck? You know? So that ended up happening, and oh my gosh, I had invited Jake that night, and at that moment when she told me all that, I was just like, I'm just gonna text him and tell him that the movie was canceled. And I was like, no, I'm gonna be the bigger person, you know, and still let him come over, you know, because I am a good person. That makes me sound so bad, but like, because like I don't want to make people feel bad that they're not invited, and like if he finds out that we did watch a movie, like he's gonna feel bad. And so I'm just like, okay, you know what, I'll just let him come or whatever. He came over, and again, like I said, he started like saying all these like the little pickup lines that he was using all the time, just little things like that. Like he started like, because I was trying to ignore him because like I'm so angry at this point. I'm just like can't you just be here and like not like say stuff like that? And so again, he doesn't know that I know about this other girl, so he's still using all these pickup lines on me and saying all these things. And at one point I'm trying to ignore him. He's like, guys, he tells like everyone out, like he's like, Bianca doesn't love me anymore. And I'm just like oh please stop, like just stop. And so I just remember the entire night I was trying to avoid him because he was sitting on the couch on this wall, and I literally, the television was on this side. I had my back towards him the entire time, and he was making little comments, like being funny. And as much as I wanted to laugh because it was funny, like I was just like, nope, not laughing. Like I'm just so annoyed right now, like just stop. So when he said that, like that really, like I was just like just stop. Like I already know that you're talking to some other girl, but apparently he didn't know, right? So then I think it was like a week later, we were at my friend with no name's house. We were at his house, and we were still in the middle of moving from the old apartment here to this house. So he was saying, what did he say? He said something about like an address. Like I was like, oh, I won't give you my address to my house, you know, just being kind of like joking but like serious at the same time, you know. And so he was like, oh, it's okay, I'll ask your mom because I'm her favorite. And I was like, at this point I had already told my mom all of this. She already knew I liked him. She already knew that he had told me he liked me, and so she already knew all these stuff. Like I told my mom everything right before any of this other, or if I was a side chick or whatever happened. So I was like, no, I don't think so. Like I don't think she's your favorite. And he was like, yeah, well, I'll ask her and she's gonna give me the address. And I was like, no, she won't. He's like, wow, like you wouldn't give me your address? And I was like, well, no, I wouldn't. And he was like, wow. And I was just, and at that point I was like, really, why would you care? And that's when he was like, oh, because I said it with like an angrier tone that I like don't really use. So he's like, oh, okay, like he stopped talking. And I felt so guilty. Like I'm not a mean person, so like I don't normally say things in that tone because I like try to control my anger, but like I just try to control myself. So in that moment, like I just got so angry that it's just like, why would you care, you know? I mean, I didn't say it like that. I sounded like a little bit meaner, but yeah. So that happened, and then when he was leaving, he comes up to me and he's like, bye. He's like, I just want to know if like everything's okay like between us. And I was just like, yeah, it's fine, right? But he's saying this in front of everyone, so it's not like I'm gonna be like, no, here's what happened. Like I know that you've been talking to another girl, you know. So I didn't say that. So I was like, no, yeah, everything's fine. And so I think at that time it was like maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, or maybe like 2:30ish, because by the time I got home, we all kind of left around the same time. So when I got home, I like texted him. I was like, I just like wanted to apologize because like I didn't mean to like say that and like make you feel bad. And he's like, no, it's fine. Like, I just wanted to make sure that you were okay and that we're okay. And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, like if anything's wrong, like just let me know. And I was like, well, now that you ask me, like, because I'm a very honest person. If you ask me like what's wrong in a more like personal setting, like I will let you know, you know? So when that happened, he was like, yeah, I just want to know that like we're okay. And I'm just like, well, here's the thing, you know, here's the situation. Here's the situation. And I literally told him everything. Like last week, someone told me that you were talking with some other girl, and like I just wanted to know if like that's true, because you know then I'll step away, you know, like if you guys want, I have receipts for it. I can literally let you know everything that was said. I literally only kept the conversation there because I needed it for receipt purposes. I literally sent him a paragraph of stuff. Can you see that giant paragraph I sent him? Right? So I literally told him everything. I could read you guys what I said, but I won't read what he said just because like that's not like, I didn't write that, he did. So I'm just gonna like in my own words say what he said, but I can read you guys what I put. So I put, here's the situation. Last week someone mentioned that you've been talking to this other girl, and that the only reason you're not with her is because she's leaving for 9 months. And so it kind of just threw me off a little, because I know we haven't been talking. I didn't know how to bring this up, or if this makes sense, or if it's even true, because like I said before, he had already said like, don't believe anything unless it comes from me. And then I put, I know we haven't been talking much lately, so I kind of figured that's why you stopped talking to me. This probably makes no sense whatsoever. And then he literally kept like, or you know how you can see when people are like typing and the little bubble shows up, but then like it would like, he would erase it because the bubbles would go away, and then he would write again. It literally took him like 10 minutes to send me something. So honestly, I literally sent him the smallest text because he wasn't replying, but I knew he was there. And so I put, my feelings won't be to her, I'd just rather know the truth. And that's really all I wanted to know. Like if you're talking to someone else, like at least have the decency to like let me know, hey Bianca, I'm talking to this other girl, like it's probably not going to work between you and I. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You know what I mean? And so that's when he kind of starts saying like, oh, I haven't been talking to her. I've only been talking to her for like a month or so. And it wasn't serious before that because he goes to school with this girl. We had stopped talking, and I didn't know what happened, and in my mind I'm thinking, wait, we didn't stop talking, you stopped talking to me, but we're like still talking, so like I don't understand. But I mean, we had been talking for probably like close to 6 months, so you know, I feel like relationships that are that long, like you don't just give them up like from one day to the other, you know? And then he was like, yes, I don't know what happened from there. And I was like, okay, that's all I wanted to know, thinking that maybe he wasn't going to say anything else, because I'm like, I'm done with the conversation. Like I could care less if you're talking to her, but just stop talking to me, you know? And he was like, oh, it wasn't like I didn't like you, it was just that I started hanging out with her. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Like you don't need to tell me the details, like I'm fine. Like just tell me, oh yeah, I like this other girl. Okay, cool, bye, move on, you know? And I was like, okay, it's all good. And then he just continues the conversation, like, just like, stop, like, stop. And so he goes, and since nothing happened, I figured it wasn't news I need to make public. I'm sorry that you have to hear from someone else. We're okay. I'm really sorry you had to deal with that. And I put, yep. That's literally all I answered, guys. YEP is all I answered. Because like I said, at this point I was done with the conversation, like move on. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, like I need to go to sleep, I need to go to work, you know, so like, okay, let's move on. And then he sent this next message, which I'm just like, he goes, thank you, you're amazing, please know that everything's good on my end, there's no grudges. I'm just like, grudges? If anything, I should be holding the grudge because you played me. I didn't play you. It's not like I was talking to somebody else. Like, no. Like, stop trying to make yourself be the victim here. Like, you got caught. And I think that's what happened. I think he kind of went into panic mode. And I don't think he wasn't talking to this other girl, but I think it's because she lives in another town and I live here. And so all my friends don't know her until like a couple weeks later. So like I'm thinking like, did he think that he could pull a fast one and have one girl in one town and one girl in the other, you know? And so yeah, then he kept saying, I'm sorry, I really wish no one had told you about this. In my mind I'm thinking, well, if no one would have told me about this, when would I have figured out that you didn't like me? If you were still trying to use like pickup lines and still talking to me the same way, like I just don't understand, you know? So, but literally I told him like, I just have one favor, that you just stop talking to me, like just stop doing your little jokes, like it's enough. I don't want to have to explain to everyone like, oh, he was talking to me but now he's talking with some other girl and now I'm like irrelevant, you know? So he said he would, and I was like, okay, good night. And that was literally the last communication we had. And I just think that he wasn't sorry that I found out. I think his apology was never genuine, because I had seen him multiple times after that. Like I said, we have mutual friends in common, and he never once came up to me and was like, hey Bianca, like I'm sorry that you had to find out from someone else. I'm sorry that I didn't tell you what was going on. I'm sorry. Like he never apologized in real life. He tried to, like, I feel like he almost tried to act like nothing happened, you know? And I think that's kind of like, it's kind of annoying a little, because I'm not hurt about, you know, him liking another girl. That's not the thing. I'm hurt that we've been friends for such a long time and we had such a good like communication that he couldn't just tell me, you know, hey Bianca, like I don't think I have the same feelings for you anymore. Like I like this other girl, but you know, I just want to give you a heads up. And I would have been okay with it. Like I'm not a dramatic person, but I feel like the fact that he couldn't tell me to my face, that I had to hear from someone else. And I feel like his apology was more apologizing that I found out. Like he never even like said like, oh, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you myself. You know, it was more like, oh, I'm sorry somebody else had to tell you, or someone felt the need to tell you that, you know? And that's what I was more hurt about, because we've been friends, like I said, for such a long time, that you couldn't take our friendship into consideration, or the fact that we're like still around each other, you know, because we have the same friends. So yeah, that's my story about the time your girl got played. Let me know if I'm being dramatic, because sometimes I feel like I'm being like such a girl in this situation, but at the same time I think that I've been friends with him for such a long time that he could have at least had the decency to tell me to my face, you know, even before, like he supposedly said that he started talking to her like a month or so ago, you know, when I think it's been longer. I think he was talking to both of us at the same time. He was trying to see who was the better option, and apparently he likes her more, and I'm fine with that. I don't want a relationship like that where you can't keep things 100, you know, where you can't tell the truth, where you can't be honest with someone. So yeah, let me know if you've ever had to deal with a situation like this where you're getting played. And it's interesting. It's real interesting. Let me just say, I never thought that this would come from this person. Like I said, let me know if you've ever had to deal with a situation where you were being played, and let me know down below, because I'd love to hear your stories and all that. And also let me know if I'm being too dramatic, because I feel like I'm not being dramatic. Like I got to meet the girl maybe like a week or two after I found out, and I was nice to her. I was still nice to him. I'm still nice to everyone, you know? So I don't know what's going on. Oh, and this is a side comment. He ended up blocking me on like Facebook. And I mean, I'm not hurt. I'm just thinking like, really, you gotta be that petty that you block me on Facebook? Really? I know he has his Facebook because other people who are, like I said, we have mutual friends, are still friends with him, and he tries to talk to my sister. He tries to talk to my sister's boyfriend, and I think that's just so messed up when you try to catch up with someone's sister when you haven't even like addressed the situation, if that makes sense. And so like, yeah, that's the story. Like I said, I'm not hurt about the situation. I'm just hurt that he didn't take it in a better way, because I thought he was better than that. So yeah, I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys. I lost part of my wannabe tripod. I need some tissue so it looks like I'm crying. I'm really trying to make it look like I'm so sad. Like I just got smolder in my eye. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, I have to go to work now. Bye guys. So, whoa, I burped there. My temper, I don't have a temper.